Today we are going to explore what are considered the most unknown cities of South America. Those cities that maybe are not that familiar or the touristic destination. So today we are not going to talk about Buenos Aires, Lima, or São Paulo. We are going to discover new city of South America. Welcome back to the Way Founders. I'm your host Diana and I'm here with Malcolm.
How's it going?
So today we are going to answer a big question. What are the best unknown cities in South America? What do you find?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to discussing cities in South America, we've got to think about these unique, because South America in itself is massive. It's a big continent of its own. And we've got to think about the cities that give you a very unique view on the world, or like a very unique experience when you visit. So I decided to go with high altitude cities. So these are cities that are around the Andes mountain range. So these aren't just high cities in elevation, but they also have creative cultures and very unforgettable landscapes. We're talking massive mountain ranges, ancient ecosystems, and cities literally built inside along a volcano's shadow. So I'll start us off with one that's a little bit more known to everyone is Bogota in Colombia, which is high altitude, and is in the shadow of the Andes. This is known as, or could be argued as, one of the largest cities in the world at this extreme elevation of 2,640 meters. So it's quite high up there. When we think about Bogota, there's a lot of things that don't necessarily come to mind, but are part of the identity of the city, such as, number one, the unique geography, because to the east of the city, if you look towards the east of the city, there's sort of a barrier that stops its expansion, which happens to be the eastern caldera of the Andes mountain range. And this creates such a stunning backdrop right next to downtown. And to the west, the city is also limited by the Bogota River. So in some funny way, it's probably like how in Turin, if you go to the top, you can sort of see the mountain range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Like the mountain all around the city, so it's cool.
Yeah. So imagine that now in South America. It's a completely different experience. But the real ecological showstopper to the south is the Sumapas Paramo, which is the largest continuous paramo or alpine tundra ecosystem in the world. So you've got to think unique tropical mountain vegetation, and all of this at altitude. So it's a very unique city in general. Although about 45 kilometers outside the district of Bogota, you can see this beautiful natural waterfall known as the Tequendama Falls that drop into the Bogota River. So not only is the city one of the highest altitudes and has an amazing mountain range, you also get the stunning waterfalls in the area. When it comes to the vibe and culture of Bogota, you can obviously think like it's a party. It's a party vibe, which is good. It's what you want from a big city like this. And despite the high altitude of the city itself, it's actually pretty mild in climate. We're talking about 14 degrees Celsius year round, with highs reaching about 19 degrees on a sunny day. So it's not your warmest city per se, but at least you get some double-digit temperatures. It's also quite foggy as a city, and you can imagine that just being around a mountain range that happens. When I look at like Bogota and the cultural center as well, we've got to think about it's a hard word, La Cadelarena, which is the historical heart. I feel like you'll have an easier time speaking Spanish with some of these in South America, but yeah, La Cadelarena is it's got these beautiful old colonial buildings and these narrow cobblestone streets and loads of museums and government palaces. So you've got to think more of a European vibe right in South America. So that's very cool. And of course, you can't speak about Colombia, Bogota, without mentioning their coffee. So every corner has a lovely, high quality coffee shop that you should definitely try. And in the evening, the nightlife. Bogota is known for the nightlife. It's a capital of the nightlife. So you've got about at least 50 nightclubs offering everything from salsa to indie rock. So it's lively, it's a must-see destination, and it's getting really popular.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big coffee lover, but I love coffee. Like, go to the cafe and experience the smell of coffee. I like the taste of coffee. I don't like. I don't know why.
No, I'm with you there, honestly, because and we usually have this conversation is people who drink coffee, I'm like, yeah, it tastes like mud and soil, but it smells amazing. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And then all the how it is cultivated and all the technique that you need to make coffee is really amazing. Like there
it
is
is.
a really a big process behind making just a small cup of coffee, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I think that's what's amazing about some of these destinations is that if it's known as an area that is famous for coffee, you can actually do a tour where you actually go see the process of making the coffee and then enjoy a traditionally made coffee at the end of the tour.
Which is like incredible.
Yeah.
You see everything
Yeah,
from the small seed to then
Yes.
the coffee.
exactly. It's beautiful. So what about you? What city did you find?
So you went on the top of the mountains and
Yeah.
all that. I just went from a little spot that maybe not a lot of people know. Well, we know the country, which is Paraguay, but maybe we don't know the capital of Paraguay, which is Asunción. And it is really funny the fact that Asunción is known with the name of Madre de las Ciudades, which means Mother of the Cities, and it is one of the first city that was built in South America, and it was built in 1537, and it was also one of the first city to rebel against the Spanish power. And even though it's one of the oldest cities in South America, it's still one of the least visited. Not because it's like ugly or not charming, but it's completely opposite. Like it's really beautiful and it's just hidden. And not many tourists think about Asunción when they want to visit South America. What is really interesting about this city, and that here you can find a mixture of two cultures, Spanish and Guarani. They live side by side. Guarani is an indigenous. Oh my god!
Indigenous.
Yes, Guarani is an indigenous community united by the language Guarani and the tradition. And usually we can find this type of communities in Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, and Bolivia. And a few spots that you should definitely visit when you are in Asunción is the Palacio de López, which is the presidential palace and one of the most symbolic buildings in Paraguay. It has a mixture of neoclassical architectures and also colonial elegance, and is especially beautiful during the night because all the palace is illuminated and it stands along the Paraguay River. And even though it's closed to the public, you can still visit the gardens, and from the Costanera you can have this beautiful view of the palace. And if you stand on the riverside hill, the palace looks almost surreal during the golden hours, because this neoclassical facade glows with soft orange light, and it's simply just a perfect picturesque building during this time of the day. Then another places to visit is the Panteón Nacional de los Héroes. This solemn monument is the resting place of Paraguay's most important historical figures and is often compared to a smaller Pantheon of Paris or a mini version of the one that it is in Buenos Aires. Inside, the atmosphere is quiet and almost sacred, with soft light reflecting on the marble walls and the eternal flame dedicated to the national heroes. Another really interesting place to visit is the Loma San Jerónimo, which is one of the most colorful neighborhoods in Asunción. It's a hilltop neighborhood covered in murals, colorful houses, handcrafted decoration, and still painted with bright patterns. It feels authentic and artistic, with an excellent place for photo, local streets, food, and multi-friendly locals. Here you can find the various food stalls that offers empanada made homemade, and they also offers the typical bebida. ¿Cómo se dice? the typical drink of these places, which is tereré, which is made of yerba mate, water, and a lot of ice. So it's really refreshing. So you can eat your empanada and then also drink tereré. I think it's like a good combination.
Yeah.
You eat something that is like. Have you ever tried empanadas?
I have. I actually really like empanadas. When you mentioned that, I was like, "Yep." And is it more of a South American delicacy, or is it just in general a Spanish delicacy? Empanadas.
I think it's more of South America delicacy.
American, yeah.
Like
Okay.
I know that everywhere in South America there are different type of empanadas, and they're simply delicious. It's one of my favorite things to eat when I'm going to South America. Yeah, and because there are so many versions of it, there is the one with the meat, the one with fish, the one with cheese, or vegetarian one. So yeah, many type of thing and topic that you can do with empanadas.
I think it is important when discussing these areas. A big part of the culture seems to be the food and how it's made and very unique. Bogota, obviously, with the unique coffee. Here we have a very unique, refreshing drink that pairs well with the local delicacies. So it's good.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of indigenous communities in South America and Central America, actually in all America, that have all this really interesting way of making food, because they are still like do it in a more primitive way, without a lot of machines and a lot of ingredients. So it's really interesting to see how they are making this type of food and this type of dishes.
Yeah, and I think even if you come all the way here to North America, you've got the indigenous communities here who have fry bread, which is basically like almost like a donut type of thing that they make, and it's the same thing, a very unique delicacy that is still made in a very traditional manner in most situations, and it's usually used the same, always to celebrate or just a little snack on the side. So it's interesting to see how much culture revolves around food, and that it's still alive and happening in the Americas.
Yeah, and talking about food, I want to talk about Montevideo, the capital of Uruguay, because here you can have and taste one of the most interesting seafood that you can ever find. Like, if you are into seafood, you should go to Montevideo, because here, especially to Buceo Harbor, there is this small marina field with boats. There is just a yacht club restaurant, and you can go there and taste the seafood. I'm not really into seafood actually, but I know that there are a lot of people that like seafood, and well, I'm not into seafood because I'm allergic to it, so this is not the person that but I know that fried seafood, fried calamari, and a good lobster. I mean, for a lot of people, it's just a delicacy, and eating this in a yacht club restaurant and watch this Mediterranean atmosphere that this marina harbor creates, I think it's just beautiful. Especially, they suggest a lot of people that went there. They suggest to go to take a walk during the morning, because you can see the sunrises and all the boats, and this creates just a beautiful place to take a few photos of. And then, if you also want to drink another type traditional drink, here you can do it, especially in Posito Beach, because it's one of the local secret Uruguay has, and it's ideal for swimming during the summer. And here you can drink the mate, which is the typical drink, and also have a quick chat with the locals, because this beach is full of locals, and there are a lot of cafes that offers you different type of traditional food, and also because in all South America and in all America Latina, you have music all around you. You cannot go to sleep without listening to some neighbor who's playing some music. That is not the case. You always have music in the background. That is for sure.
I definitely see it with a lot of the cities I looked at as well. If there isn't a party culture, it's like salsa classes, it's different festivals that are always happening. So it's entwined into the culture of these places. Music and coming together and dancing. It's very similar to African culture, so I always like that about the South American culture.
Well, this is a reason why you should definitely go to visit. Yes. You can feel more at home.
Absolutely. I'm definitely, the minute I can, I've got a whole list of places to visit. Colombia is one of those places, but I would actually love to visit the second city I have here, which is La Paz in Bolivia. That's one of the interesting cities, and that's mainly because it's almost what you wouldn't expect. We're climbing even higher than Bogota now. We go to La Paz, and while Sucre is the official capital of Bolivia, La Paz is the seat of the government. So that's making it one of the highest major cities in the world. As you can see, most of the cities I picked all to do with high altitude, even though myself, I don't like heights, but I always think that it's amazing to see a city near a mountain range. So unlike Bogota, La Paz wasn't built next to a mountain. It was built inside a steep canyon. So you've got to think with the majestic Mount Illimani, which is also referred to as the guardian of La Paz, looming over the city. This location also was once an ancient Inca settlement. And it's always interesting to see these cities that always follow the pattern of ancient cities. And then on top of that, you build the new city, which is I always find that interesting in human history. So anyway, the canyon creates a striking paradox because this city is usually known as the upside down city. And that's because in most countries or most capital cities, you'd expect that the lower bits of the canyon are where the middle to lower income people settle. And then in the hills, in the mountains is where you would expect the rich to wealthy people of the city to settle. But this is why La Paz is known as the upside down city, because most of the wealthy inhabitants live at the lowest altitude for the warmer air, while the lower income citizens cling to makeshift houses on the surrounding, much higher hills. But connecting all of this together is an innovative mi-teleférico cable car system, which is the world's highest and longest version of public transport in the world. When we talk about the culture of these destinations, we've got an interesting one in La Paz, because even though it's high altitude, it actually sits on the equator. But we do expect very cold tundra to subtropical tundra kind of climate. So it's possible for it to snow at night, which is a very strange concept or contrast. Culturally, we've got to know La Paz as one of the most interesting or visually stunning places with colonial architecture. For example, the Cathedral Metropolitana, which is built on a steep hillside, or the Iglesia de San Francisco, a gorgeous example of Mesito Baroque carvings with local fruits and birds. I feel like this episode today has a lot of hard to pronounce words. So
yeah, we're going to mispronounce everything.
Yeah.
But first, luckily we got you the subtitles, and
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
you can check the right place anyway.
So true. But what's truly unique about La Paz has got to be the market. They've got a market called the Witches Market, which was an incredible site for Armaean remedies and offerings to the earth goddess Pachamama. So if you visit between May and June, you might catch one of these local festivals called the Fiesta del Gran Poder. This one is one of the most massive and colorful festivals in the world, and it features thousands of costume dancers. So once again, another city that is steeped in a lot of history, a lot of culture, and as always, South America, we've got to have festivals, dancing, and a very interesting one is that witches market, to get those local and traditional remedies.
I like to call my mom like she's a witch, because she is all into this type of remedies, natural remedies. But I really think there is something cultural, because also my grandma is into that. Like, before any type of medicine, we need to see what type of natural remedies I can give to you. So because my family is from South America, I was always into this type of let's say like that. So it's really interesting to see that there is a real market dedicated to all these type of things, which is really, I mean, I would spend a whole day there, like see if they really can cure me from all my diseases.
No, I think you're right, because it's the same thing back in Kenya. We always address an issue with the herbal remedy, and if then the herbal remedy cannot fix it, then you're like, okay, I'll go to the doctor. But if it's a cold, a sore throat, just your everyday sickness, we'll have like the ginger, lemon, mix it with it. And I found out that a lot of this isn't every culture in the world. Like it's very indicative to indigenous cultures of the world. But if you went to someone in the UK and you asked them, oh, I have a cold, the first thing they'll go and reach for is probably an over-the-counter medicine. And that usually, I was like, oh, interesting. You guys don't know about the honey, lemon, and ginger thing?
Yeah. They most use remedy. There is not like natural remedies in like in South America. I think is Vicks.
Yes,
the
vapor rub.
Balm.
Yes.
Yeah, that is so strong, so strong. But it's useful. Like you can use for everything. It cures everything. I don't know what it is, but Vicks Vaporub is so powerful.
It's true, and I mean it's the same thing, because back home I remember from stuffy chest, stuffy throat, all the way to slight injuries. I remember coming home after playing sports at school, and I think I'd sprained my ankle. Someone was like, where's the Vicks? Where's the Vicks? Put the Vicks on it. It's like, oh, this can be used for this too.
Yeah, it's for everything. It's for everything. Doesn't matter what you have. Vicks is the solution.
Yeah, it's so true. And the crazy thing is, when you go to a country that doesn't have Vicks, I remember in Romania, I used to struggle not only with the language barrier, but I thought you just go to a shop and ask, hey, Vicks, you guys have Vicks? And they were like, what is that? Che Vicks. And I was like, I don't know. Like, for your chest, it's a hard thing to describe if you ever have to describe it to someone who doesn't know what it is.
They are missing so much. Like,
yeah, right? They are.
It's so useful. I don't know how people can live without it.
Yeah.
I always have one with me everywhere I go. There's also the small ones nowadays.
Yeah.
They're so useful.
Yeah.
And
no, I think it's like one of the best herbal remedies as well. Yeah.
So you talk about the also a colonial city, and I want to add another colonial city, which is Paramaribo. That is one of the hidden capital of the South America. Maybe because we don't really think about the Suriname when we think about South America. It was a Dutch colonial colony, and it has not just Dutch culture, but also Caribbean culture, but also Japanese and Indian culture. So a lot of culture all together in one simple city, and it's really beautiful because you can see all these type of culture living side by side and living peacefully, and also characterize the city of Paramaribo. And if you want to see how these culture are divided but united at the same time, you should definitely go to visit the historic inner city that is protected by UNESCO. Here you can find actually like a small part of Netherlands in Paramaribo, because you can see all the houses with the white wooden walls, shutters, balconies, and white perches, and you can really see like a Dutch cities, but in a tropical climate. So I think it is really like a contrast that not a lot of people was expecting from this city. And you can actually visit this part of city with a walking tours. But if you want to see something that is a symbol of the city, you should definitely visit the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral. That is one of the most majestic wooden buildings in the Americas, and it is both monumental and intimate. And inside of it, you can not only see but also smell the Suriname cedar that characterize the country. And I think it's just beautiful because you can smell the beautiful smell of wood, which is like so relaxing and gives you, I don't know, this vibe of coziness, which is typical of winter and autumn. I don't think that winter, autumn are really season there in Suriname, but who knows? Maybe they can always experience the same vibes, smelling this type of wood. And if you want to not only visit architecture type of spots, you can go to a little bit outside of the city and visit the Brownsberg Natural Park. That has amazing waterfall and jungle trails, and here you can actually see and maybe also pet. I think it's a really difficult to pet a monkeys, but you can do that and and also see different type of parrots, frogs, and butterfly. And I mean, here we are. All these countries are near or in the Amazonian forest or Amazonian area, so here the nature and the wildlife is just stunning. And here with this park, you can not only have the experience of be with this type of animals, but you can also see the amazing waterfalls and the stunning lake views of the park. And in general, I think that South America really can offers you a unique type of natural view and a natural landscape that not a lot of places can offers you. Like, this is really unique about South America.
Absolutely. And I think
yeah.
it's so nice to hear about a city that has so many different elements coming into it, not only the wildlife, but the culture. And they love that, of course, the fresh smell of cedar. I have to agree. In wintertime, that is one of the best smells you have from a nice, cozy fire, is that really nice smell of wood burning. But what an interesting place. I mean, so much about it, from the melding of different cultures. I think you said Japanese, Indian, and
Javanese, which is different.
Javanese.
There are a lot of Japanese culture, but in Brazil, in this case, I don't know why in Brazil, but I have a friend of mine that is Brazilian, and he said that a lot of Japanese people are in Brazil. So I was like, really? That's interesting.
That is so unique. And then, of course, to tie it all together, the Netherlandian influence. I would love to see some of those houses and see what they look like. It's very interesting. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think as we're talking about these UNESCO World Heritage Sites, my next city in Quito in Ecuador is one of them, and it's also known as one of the oldest UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But that's not even the most unique thing about this city. It's that it sits on the equator, but it's also right next to an active volcano. You don't hear that every day. So it's actually, and on top of that, I mean, it's got so many unique things. It's also known as the highest city in the world, the highest capital city in the world, at 2,850 meters or 9,350 feet. And once again, also the closest capital city to the equator line. So there's a lot of things happening in this Quinto place, if I'm being honest, and it's a bit of an extreme location, just because it is the only capital city in the world that sits right next to an active volcano, Pichincha volcano. Although the last eruption was in 1999, the mountain is in a constant state of it's still active, and it does add to that dramatic presence of the city. Quinto is also a historic powerhouse. Once again, the Historic Center, UNESCO World Heritage Site, one of the largest historic centers and one of the best preserved in the whole of South America, with over 130 monumental buildings. Well, you can probably tell from this that the architecture here is phenomenal. We've got a couple of basilicas, such as the Basilica Devoto Nacional. It's one of the largest neo-Gothic basilicas in the Americas. It's known for its unique gargoyles and a lot of Ecuadorian native fauna like iguanas and tortoises that surround that are incorporated into the designs. So I feel like that's a very unique thing to be able to see. And you must absolutely see the La Compia de Jesus. It's also renowned. It's another cathedral that's also renowned for its use of gold leaf covering the entire interior. So these are some intricately and very beautifully designed cathedrals. And that's not it. It's got a couple of unique bucket list activities that you couldn't do anywhere else in the world. First is you get to stand on the equator at La Mitra de Mondo, or even more accurately, you could go to the Internan Solar Museum. Secondly, you have to ride the Telerifco cable car high up the sides of the Pinchilia volcano and get these breathtaking views of the entire city. And it'll also give you that taste of history as you wander down the Calle de Ronda, a charming old colonial street full of workshops and music and dancing, all the beautiful things we expect to get in South America. And I think that's all I have to say about this lovely city.
Wonderful. So we give to you 6 cities to visit if you don't know where to go to South America. Maybe you know where to go, but if you want to visit something that is not that known and it is at the same time spectacular, here are our suggestions. You can visit Paramaribo, Montevideo, or Asunción, or you can also visit
Bogota, La Paz, or Quinto. These 3 spectacular cities, each defined with a very unique relationship with the Andes, and they create such a high altitude experience unlike anywhere else on Earth.